Mateus Fernandes to Manchester United. Manchester United getting the breakthrough news they needed today. Mateus Fernandes is set to agree personal terms with Manchester United and prioritise them over Arsenal and Real Madrid. Manchester United need exactly that to get this price tag of 80 million lowered by West Ham. West Ham wants a bidding war, but if Mateus Fernandes gives priority to Manchester United, they cannot get that. And Roman was confirmed United are preparing their first bid for Mateus Fernandes. Big stories coming in. We'll also talk about Lewis Hall, left back moves, and other news stories in and around Manchester United. We may also talk about other football news stories in today's show, like Brighton making a 30 million bid for Spurs teenage centre-back Luka Vuskovic. And I think Spurs would be silly to sell him for that cheap. There was some links of Man United to Cucurella, but I think it's all a load of BS. Anana apparently wants to stay at Man United, but he's not expected to stay. They're probably going to kick him out. And more other stories going about. The World Cup started yesterday. We got South Africa, Mexico in the opening game. I didn't watch the South Korean game because that was on way too late. The World Cup has begun, and all I'm hoping is there's no injuries to any Manchester United players. But let's dive into the news. Let's dive into the stories, because Mateus Fernandes is pretty much all done on the player side of things. I think we've pretty much got the player buy-in. It's now up to Manchester United and West Ham to agree on the price. And if he has chosen Manchester United over other clubs and Real Madrid and Arsenal leave the race, then West Ham do not get the bidding war they want, and his price tag will be lowered. He already said his idol was Bruno Fernandes. He generally wants us United board will love that. And I'm at the mindset now where I really wanted Elliot Anderson. But if Elliot Anderson's going to be 120 million and he doesn't even want us, he wants that plastic soulless Manchester City club, then I want someone that's rejecting Real Madrid and Arsenal for us, that idolises Bruno Fernandes, that is, wants this Manchester United move. And that just makes Mateus Fernandes so much more of an attractive move for me. Want Bawadi for fourth midfielder since he fits the technical six profile neither Ederson, Mateus Fernandes and Scott don't provide. I do think we need a six. Ederson, Fernandes and Scott, none of them are the exact profile we need. Bawadi is like an Aiden Heaven, Lenny Euro type signing for the future. I mean, I'm a big fan of him. But look, it's going to be Mateus Fernandes, Ederson and one more. And while as much as I like Alex Scott, I do think we'd be better off getting... Alex Scott is almost a Mason Mount replacement for me. I think we'd be better off getting an out-and-out six. As much as I like Alex Scott, as good as he is, if we could sell Mount and replace him with Alex Scott, bring in Ederson, bring in Mateus Fernandes, and then use those leftover funds on a six, that makes sense. Hopefully we can reach an agreement with West Ham without dragging it too much. Bawadi is raw, but potential, yeah. Bawadi would, he's very raw. He couldn't be the Casemiro replacement. But let's dive into the news. Let's dive into the stories, because this isn't any old stories. These have come out from good sources. Mateus Fernandes is not a priority target for Real Madrid. He has given Man United his priority. So reports are coming out that he's given Manchester United priority over Real Madrid. And rivals are looking at that like, sharp, we're massive, shut up. Yeah, we're massive. So suck on that, Real Madrid. And then a very, very good Arsenal source, very well connected in the Arsenal space, Gary Jacobs, said that Man United is set to beat Arsenal in the race for Mateus Fernandes, and also mentioned it's increasingly likely that Mateus Fernandes will join Man United despite Real Madrid and Arsenal. So again, Mateus Fernandes is given Man United the priority over Real Madrid, over Arsenal. Good tier Arsenal sources are coming out and basically saying he's chosen Manchester United over Arsenal, so let's go. That does mean I think Tonali goes to Arsenal, but to be honest, I'd rather sign Mateus Fernandes than Sandro Tonali, and that might be a crazy thing to say because I consider Tonali in the Casemiro replacements, whereas I consider Mateus Fernandes in the second level of midfield. But I just think Mateus Fernandes' ceiling is higher. I think he's going to be better. I think he could be a 100 million midfielder very, very soon. People saying, let's be honest, lazy clickbait, no one wanted him. I mean, Arsenal wanted him and Real Madrid wanted him. So, look, maybe West Ham exaggerated how much they wanted him to try and scare United into bidding, but it's not clickbait. It's been heavily reported Arsenal and Real Madrid want him. Real Madrid brought Silva, so it's unlikely Fernandes will be brought, but Silva's available on a free. So I don't know if that really impacts their budget as well. Get Mateus Fernandes, Alex Scott, get Mount out and get a fourth midfielder in. I do think we need number six. We will come to that. And then continuing on, Fabrizio Romano said that Manchester United are in official conversations with Jorge Mendes to sign Mateus Fernandes, and they have started to prepare a bid to send West Ham for the player. This basically confirms personal terms essentially agreed, because all of a sudden, Romano confirms we're in talks with Mateus Fernandez' agent. All of a sudden, now we know we're officially in talks with Mateus Fernandez' agent, it comes out that we're going to beat Arsenal and Madrid. It comes out that he's prioritised us over Madrid and Arsenal. So we've had talks with Mateus Fernandez' agent, and we found out today, which we already kind of knew, but we found out officially today, he's going to prioritise us over Madrid. He's going to prioritise us over Arsenal. We've obviously got the official communication from Mateus Fernandes that he wants to move, and now we're ready to send our bid. Man United never prepared to send a bid for Anderson because Anderson never gave Man United the communication he wants us. As much as fans are saying City are bidding 100 million for Anderson, why don't we go and bid 100 million? The reason is if we bid 120 million for Anderson and he rejects us and goes to City, then every team will see we have 120 million. So we never made the Anderson bid. But we are making the Mateus Fernandes bid. Romano was saying that. Romano was saying we're making the Mateus Fernandes bid because we basically must have been told by Mateus Fernandes, I want you. Like City were told by Anderson, I want you. We're not going to make a bid for a player unless we know they're giving us the buy-in. And this basically confirms it's giving us the buy-in. Like, guys, Mateus Fernandes is happening unless West Ham refuse to lower a price tag, in which they haven't got the power to do so because they are in the Championship. He is given United's priority. Arsenal sources, top-level Arsenal sources, saying he will join Man United. It's increasingly likely that Manchester United, Mateus Fernandes is going to happen. Romano saying we've had talks with the agent and now we're preparing a bid. If we had talks with the agent that didn't go well, we wouldn't be preparing a bid. Like, this is a significant development here. And some people are being all salty. There's no reason to reject anyone for United. It's very obvious there's only one team interested in him. But no, Arsenal do like him. Madrid do like him. He wants Man United because he knows, one, he's a guaranteed starter. You know, he's fighting with Declan Rice if he goes to Arsenal. And two, he grew up idolising Ronaldo, grew up idolising Bruno Fernandes. Man United have a special connection when it comes to Portuguese sporting players because of Nani, because of Bruno Fernandes, because of Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a sporting academy player. You know, he would have idolised those players. That's the one thing we have. And some people can't understand why he would choose Man United over Arsenal and Real Madrid. Well, he's happy in England. The Premier League's the best league in the world, even though it's Real Madrid. Maybe he's happy to stay in England. With Arsenal, he's not guaranteed to play with Declan Rice, but also many players do choose Man United over Arsenal. Just because Arsenal are better than us the last few years, they're not bigger than us. We still have a little bit of that pull. We are worldwide the biggest club in the world, and people won't like me for saying that. We might not act like the biggest club in the world. We might not have been playing like the biggest club in the world the last 15 years, but we are globally the biggest club in the world by size. The biggest club in the world is probably Real Madrid when you think of the Champions League, but if you think of the size of the fan base, Manchester United have the biggest global fan base in football. Real Madrid are considered the biggest club due to the trophies and the money they generate. Man United are a massive club, and we came third, but back in the Champions League. This is a player that grew up idolising Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes. I don't think it's a shock that he picks us over Real Madrid and Arsenal. And other people might think that, but I don't think that. Obviously, we know we left the race for Elliot Anderson because the price tag was obscene and he wants City. Sully, who's been top tier. By the way, Sully has been spot on. He's been telling everyone, calm down about Mateus Fernandes. United believe he's going to prioritise them over other clubs. It's now coming out today that Mateus Fernandes is going to prioritise us over other clubs. But Sully said 3 weeks ago, calm down, this is the situation. Sully, who's been spot on with the Edison news, the Mateus Fernandes news, who's shown up a lot of the major sources this summer, has said the focus is clear for Manchester United. Operation Mateus Fernandes. So you've got Sully, who I think has been more on it than anyone in the Man United space this summer, saying that focus is clear. Operation Mateus Fernandes. That is the plan. That is the player that we want next. That is the deal we want to get over the line. And what a lot of people might not remember is only yesterday, Ben Jacobs was saying United want to speed this up. It is developing. It is moving quick. Like, these are reports. I'm going to get up yesterday's reports quickly. Yesterday at 2:47 p.m. on the United stand, Ben Jacobs said, "I'm expecting movement on the Mateus Fernandes front in a sort of coming days or weeks, rather than being an August type saga." Ben Jacobs was saying yesterday he thinks this is going to develop quick. It's not going to be an August type saga. If we go into this report here, Ben Jacobs said, movement expected on Mateus Fernandes' future this month. Manchester United are already in talks on the player side. PSG and Arsenal hold appreciation. Real Madrid, the latest suitors to make contact. West Ham will double what they paid. But again, just yesterday, Ben Jacobs was saying that United could move quick. United could make a move for this deal, and that seems to be the case. This is the operation. It's Operation Mateus Fernandes. Yes, West Ham want 80 million, but we're now being told by good sources that he's going to prioritise us over Arsenal, over Real Madrid, and that puts us in a position where we can work on getting the price tag down. And the significant update, I think, comes in from Romano, where he said that we're now preparing a bid. We wouldn't be preparing a bid if we didn't get the buy-in from the player. We wouldn't be preparing a bid. Alice, how much do you think we can get Mateus Fernandes for? I think it will be 65 million. I think it will be a lot of money, but I don't think it will be as much as 80 million, to be honest, as well. Maino and Mateus Fernandes would be an insane project. Both 20, 21 years of age. They are two of the best young midfielders in the world. This could be our Vitinha and João Neves. I mean, a lot of people, obviously, they're different profiles to Vitinha and João Neves, but if you look at, sort of João Neves' age, Mateus Fernandes and Maino is ridiculous. Is absolutely ridiculous, the level of talent and ceiling there. And, I don't think people realise that. Mateus Fernandes, Maino, Bruno is a very good midfield three, but we definitely need an out-and-out six for balance. As much as I like Alex Scott, and I would be happy if we signed Alex Scott, I still think we need an out-and-out six for balance. When do you think we'll make the bid for Mateus Fernandes? Today, tomorrow, next week? I don't know. I think a bid could go in today. I think a bid could go in today. I think a bid could go in tomorrow. If he's given us priority, I think a bid probably will go in over the weekend, if I was going to be honest. He's not at the World Cup either, so yeah. Maino's no João Neves. I'm not saying Maino's João Neves and Mateus Fernandes is Vitinha, but what I'm saying is we're building a midfield for the future and we're building our own kind of PSG level midfield. I hope West Ham don't drag the deal. West Ham are in a financial situation. They need the money. If they're not going to get a bidding war because Mateus Fernandes picks Man United and the other teams walk away, they will have to lower their price tag. I doubt Mateus Fernandes fully rejected Madrid as much as we're seeing us as an immediate next step in his career. I don't think he would have fully rejected Madrid. I think he'll prioritise Man United. If Man United can't get the deal over the line and Madrid can, then he would go to Madrid. But it looks like we are his first choice. And it does feel like this deal is happening, guys. It feels like this deal is only a matter of time. So let's see what happens. Let's see what develops. Of course, things can go wrong, but it looks like he's going to prioritise us. It looks like the deal's only a matter of time. And yeah, I think Real Madrid have a bigger global fan base also, but we are top few clubs in the world. Real Madrid are the bigger club, but I think global fan base, because of Asia being so populated and we have a bigger fan base in Asia, I think United actually do have the biggest fan base. Alice, do you think Tchouaméni is possible? We'll know in July. I think it would be unlikely, but I think it's not. I think Anderson is completely ruled out of that. I think Tchouaméni, we're going to see what Real Madrid do. It depends what Real Madrid do in the transfer window, to be honest. Sorry, I just yawned there. Yeah. What on earth? Bear with me a sec. Just been sent something. You also sent something from someone saying Mateus Fernandes is verbally agreed to join at Manchester United. He will prioritise them over Real Madrid and Arsenal, but he has not rejected Real Madrid and Arsenal or anything like that. It's just Man United's his preference. A little bit like how Anderson has not rejected Man United, but City is his preference, is what I've just been sent. So that's quite interesting there. Goldbridge even came out this morning and said that he'd got information that personal terms had been agreed. He said, new personal terms not an issue with Fernandes to United. We didn't say agreed, sorry. He said personal terms not an issue with Fernandes to United. He never said agreed. He's not asking for huge wages and is comfortably under United's wage limit. Now prepare for the hard bit negotiating with West Ham. But it looks like, according to reports behind the scenes, there's a verbal agreement on wages, personal terms, and a verbal buy-in. Some people say verbal agreement not worth the paper it's written on. But look, Elliot Anderson hasn't agreed terms with City, but there's a verbal agreement there, and we know that City's going to get him. So, yeah, City will not be selling Rodri, so that's massive for us. But if City do sell Rodri to Real Madrid, then that really opens up the door for Tchouaméni. No, Casemiro's our sitter. Maino plays the link-up role, very short passes. But at times, Maino was deeper than Casemiro last season. I don't know if people noticed that. And I think that was because Casemiro was pushing up with his goal threat. I think Maino has the ability to play deeper, but I prefer Maino as an 8. But I do think Mateus Fernandes and Maino will complement each other well. If we have Mateus Fernandes and Carlos Baleba and Alex Scott, I think it will be very good for United. I would have not got Edison, and I would have got Mateus, Carlos Baleba, and Alex Scott. If we can't get Tonali, Tchouaméni, Anderson, instead of Edison, I would have gone Mateus Fernandes, Carlos Baleba, Alex Scott. I would personally. But now I think we've got Edison and Mateus Fernandes set to come in. I just feel like the need for Alex Scott is less. I think Baleba might be more the profile we need, despite Alex Scott being miles better this season. Is Fernandez a starter for United? I think so. For me, he's better than Edison. He's better than Edison as well. Not sure about Tonali, good player, but I think it will be a headache in a couple of years as he wants to go back to Italy. For me, it depends on the price tag with Tonali. He's not a £100 million player. There's a point where I was like, just spend £100 million on him. You know, we need an elite midfielder, but I don't think he's a £100 million player. And I think Newcastle will want £100 million. I think that is the problem. Like, I like Tonali. I rate Tonali. I think he's very good, but he's not someone I want to spend anywhere near £100 million on. What on earth? Man United could make a move for Morgan Rogers. I don't think so. I think Arsenal are going to win. I think Rogers is between Arsenal and Chelsea. I think we like Rogers. I think Rogers is on our list, but yeah. Bruno Fernandes favourite to win the PFA Player of the Season. Yeah, that's not been announced, but we kind of know Bruno's going to win it there. But I want to talk about Lewis Hall. I want to talk about left-back news. Obviously, there's a lot on Mateus Fernandes. He's expected to join Man United. Sean Connolly said to clarify, Manchester United have been confident of signing Mateus Fernandes since opening talks. Obviously, the expectation internally at Manchester United for a while has been Elliot Anderson is likely to go to City. Forest want a British transfer record fee. City are confident they can get the deal done. So Saleh has said it's now Operation Mateus Fernandes for Manchester United. But I do want to discuss a few other news and stories on other targets for Manchester United. And obviously one of that being Lewis Hall. Manchester United are more likely to sign a left-back than a left winger this summer after running the rule over options in both positions. This was said by Ty Marshall of the Manchester Evening News. Now, Man United are more likely to sign a left-back than a left winger this summer after running the rule over multiple positions. My mindset is this. If you can get Kvaratskhelia, you get a left winger over a left-back because that is an elite level left winger. But realistically, we're not going to be able to get Kvaratskhelia. If you can get Lewis Hall, you get a left back over a left winger because that's an elite level left back. My mindset is, if you could get a Nuno Mendes or Lewis Hall at left back, you do left back over left wing. But if you could get a Vinicius or a Kvaratskhelia at left wing, you go left wing over left back. My mindset is, if we have to choose between one of left back and left wing, we go where the better player is. If our left wing options are Mika Goods and, I don't know, Mika Goods, for example, that's our best left wing option, then I will go Lewis Hall. But if we can't get Lewis Hall and our best left-back option is like, I don't know, Anthony Robinson, then I will go for a left winger. My mindset is, whoever's better out of the left wing or the left-back option we go for. Iliman Ndiaye is better than Anthony Robinson, but Lewis Hall is better than Iliman Ndiaye. Lewis Hall is min, but Kvaratskhelia would be better than Lewis Hall. Now, we got no chance of getting Kvaratskhelia, but I don't know if that makes sense. For me, you go out of left wing or left back, whoever's the best target you can get. And I think Lewis Hall is the best left back in the Premier League. And if there's any chance of getting Lewis Hall, which again, I don't know, the only unreliable sources are saying he wants out of Newcastle, but we do like him. If there's any chance of getting Lewis Hall, I do think you go for him at left back over a left winger because I think he's the future for the next 10 years. I'm not against this. I'm not against Rashford at left wing. But Rashford's set to go to Bayern Munich. I'm not against Rashford at left wing. But only if he wants to be here. And I don't think Rashford wants to be here. He's on a lot of wages. The club don't want him back. I'm not against it. I think right now, if we're talking about some of the left wingers we're being linked to, they're not better players than Marcus Rashford. And if we're not going to get 30 million for Marcus Rashford, I'm not against bringing him back. But he doesn't want to be here. It could be an attitude issue. And that could be a problem, you know. Left back always makes more sense to prioritise. Shaw is ageing and not very dynamic. Our left wing options are much better than our left back. I agree, and I think Luke Shaw can be a left centre back. There is reports coming out from Ty Marshall of the Manchester Evening News that Bayern are seriously considering making a move for Rashford. There's a strong feeling that Bayern Munich are going to go in for Marcus Rashford. Bayern Munich wanted Gordon before he joined Barcelona. Now they're interested in doing a move for Marcus Rashford. For me, I think Bayern would be a very good move for Rashford, and I think they'd be willing to actually give us the 30-40 million rather than Barcelona playing us around there as well. I think Rashford's numbers in the Bundesliga would be nuts. We saw Rashford get a hat-trick against Leipzig. We've seen Rashford against Bundesliga oppositions. I think his numbers would be nuts. Bruno Fernandes has been nominated for the PFA Premier League Fans Player of the Month for May. It's between Bruno, Haaland, Asula, Raya, Truffet and Ollie Watkins as well. So hopefully Bruno wins that award. But obviously reports are coming out that it's Operation Mateus Fernandes. He's a priority. And after signing Mateus Fernandes, United will explore the midfield market for a third midfielder, but also see if they can get Lewis Hall. I think the plan is Mateus Fernandes, try for Lewis Hall, see if we can get Lewis Hall, then the big dog midfielder, then see where funds go after sales, maybe another attacking reinforcement if Xerxes goes, and maybe a centre-back. I think that is the plan. Obviously, injuries, World Cup, United will be watching that as well. But yeah, Amarin's set to go to AC Milan. Lol, Leao will want out of there as well. Do you think we'll sign a striker? I think it depends on Xerxes, but I think Xerxes will go. So I do think we will sign a striker. Yeah. Oh, I got given a Gyökeres shirt. I know, for a shoot. I got given a Sweden shirt. I didn't realise he was on the back. And someone was like, yeah, you got Gyökeres on the back. Not fun repping Gyökeres, to be honest, as well. Rashford could rip it up in the Bundesliga. And I really like Rashford, just is immense in the Bundesliga, and Barcelona can cry over that. Mateus Fernandes, West Ham want 80 million. I think a deal will be done in the 60 million range. I do think Anderson's 120 million price tag is going to make it harder for us to lower the fee, but luckily he's not going to the World Cup and West Ham are relegated, so we are in a stronger position to negotiate that deal. Raya should win it. Yeah, to be honest, Raya has been immense in this last month. I think Bruno Fernandes should win Player of the Season, but I do think Raya deserves Player of the Month this last year. Yeah, I think Raya was Arsenal's best player second half of the season. Rice was the best player first half of the season with Gabriel. Look, I would love Krupi, but he's not. I think we don't want a young striker. I think we want a striker that's experienced that can come in to replace Xerxes. And I don't think we've got the funds for Krupi, as good as he is. I think Ineos want to remove Rashford's wage. Yeah. I mean, I'm not against Rashford coming back if he wanted to be here and he was happy to be here, but I think it's the wages, over 300 grand a week, and you can't blame Ineos for that. But listen, people, thank you for watching today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, feel free to hit the like button. You're welcome to subscribe if you're new. I will be back with an update tonight. If there's any breaking news, I'll be back at 5:30. If there is no breaking news, I'll be back with your 10-minute roundup tonight. See you next time. Bye.